Banished used to have a ridiculously long cooldown for almost no reason, clocking in at around 30 minutes, to prevent Warlocks from banishing multiple mobs over and over. In Wrath, they changed it so it could only keep one demon banished with no cooldown, like most sane mob crowd controls similar to Polymorph and Fear. Lots of abilities in Vanilla WoW had very long cooldowns for almost no reason. For most of Vanilla and BC, the best DPS for Destro was just spamming Shadowbolt and nothing else. Before Cataclysm, Warlocks had to use soul shards to summon their pets, making stones, or summoning a player. Warlocks needed to farm 30 plus soul shards in order to summon an entire raid. Soul shards also took up bag space, so just like old hunters with arrow pouches, you had soul bags which could only contain soul shards. So Warlocks usually had one less bag than everyone else. Also, soul shards did not stack. In Vanilla WoW, the last talent in the Demonology Warlock tree was Soul Link. It originally split 50% of all damage you took between you and your demon. Then later on in Vanilla, they changed it to 30% of all damage taken by the casters taken by your pet, and a 3% damage increase for you and your pet. Both really strong. Demonology Warlocks had more HP than tanks, and their pets were really good. This combined with the damage reduction from Soul Link, a Warlock could actually tank some bosses in some vanilla raids. The ranged tank made it a lot easier for bosses to be taken down. In PvP, a Warlock could simply keep for the rotation Fear into Immolation into Drain Life. With the damage from their pets, Soul Link, and having a high health pool, they took a lot of hits to kill. Also, Fear took a ton more damage to break in those days than it does today. Warlocks were one of two classes with a class mount until Wrath of the Lich King. When you reached level 40, you'd get a quest to talk to an NPC in Ratchet and you'd receive your mount. The Felsteed's name used to be Nightmare. Warlocks also didn't have to buy apprentice riding, which was 90 gold back then, and back in the day, 90 gold was actually quite a lot. Warlocks once had a very unique dot. When Warlocks were first given Curse of Doom, it was unique in the way that it would do absolutely nothing for 59 seconds, but then deal a huge amount of damage and have a chance to summon a Doom Guard on the 60th second. The Doom Guard was neutral though, and could attack you as well. Curse of Doom was then changed to Bane of Doom, like the Warcraft 3 spell Curse of Doom was based on, which functioned more like a dot and dealt damage every 15 seconds for 60 seconds, with a chance to summon a demon fighting on your side every time it ticked. Now, it's just Doom. When you're Metamorphosis, you replace Corruption with Doom, and it lasts for 1 minute. Each time it crits, you summon a Wild Imp. Apart from Hellstones and Soulstones, Warlocks also used to have Firestones and Spellstones, which were added in patch 1.3, sorta like offensive stones. First, they were consumable. The Firestone had a chance on melee attack to deal additional fire damage, and the Spellstone removed all magical effects as well as gave you an absorption shield. Then they turned them into weapon enchant-ish equip items. The stones were a conjured item which you put on your offhand slot, so you couldn't use a staff and a stone, which was later removed to the wand slot. The Firestone granted spell crit and increased all damage by direct spells. The Spellstone increased all damage by periodic spells and your haste. Nobody ever used the stones though, because they were not equivalent or even near comparable to the stats of wands. They were removed in Cataclysm. Back when Blackwing Lair released, there was a boss called Razorgore the Untamed, who had a chance to drop a really good trinket, the Black Book, which increased your pet's damage and armor by 100% for 30 seconds on use. This combined with two other talents that boosted your imp's damage by a ton, a Warlock could sit and watch his imp beat another player in a duel. The Black Book was later changed to increase your pet's attack power by 122. For a while, there was a bug with the Warlock Soul Link. Your Soul Link didn't get removed from demons that were enslaved when you applied it to them. You could enslave a demon, put Soul Link, then let it go. Repeat this with a number of demons. All damage you received would be split between the demons. Not only would this make a rogue's ambush deal next to no damage to you, but the rogue would also aggro all demons around him that were linked. Getting 50 demons on your ass was quite a pain in the rear. SL Warlocks in BC. Soul Link / Siphon Life Warlocks was one of the most overpowered specs in the Burning Crusade. You combined Soul Link from the Demonology tree with Siphon Life from the Affliction tree, as well as some other talents to boost their effects. Siphon Life worked like the pet ability of the same name, which is basically a dot that took the damage it dealt and gave it to the caster as a heal, every 3 seconds for 30 seconds. A Warlock would simply run into a battleground, apply Siphon Life, Corruption, Curse of Agony upon any target he could find, then proceed to use Drain Life and Fear. The healing from Siphon Life and the damage reduction from Soul Link made Warlocks almost unkillable. At the same time, their dots would deal a lot of damage, and the Warlock could reapply them whenever he felt he needed to. SLS Warlock's 2 comps were a thing to be feared, but to be fair, there were quite a bit of other overpowered classes in BC PvP, so it all balanced it out as long as you were playing one of those overpowered classes.